they're very identifiable with the white pants and the jersey shirt or whatever that is. And then she's not gonna run too fast. I mean, she's already kind of getting gassed, so you can tell she's really tired.
That's the ironic thing. That's the ironic thing about it. She thinks she's just what is she trying to do here?
Hitchhiking.
Stop.
A hitchhiking.
Come on.
Carjacking.
Come on. Really? This is unbelievable. This is out of control. I mean, what is she going to do? She has no idea how many eyes are on her. She thinks she's going for a Friday afternoon stroll down Compton Avenue. She's about to be rudely awoken here if she continues. If she tries to hitchhike or carjack somebody, this is going to take a much different turn. Look at her stopping traffic, trying to get a ride, looking at her hands, trying to beg for a ride as she continues walking up Compton. This is unbelievable. This is incredible.
This might be a first to see a pursuit suspect then get out of the car and then try to hitchhike.
Does she not hear the choppers?
Well, she's probably
she must.
She must. Multiple choppers but you know, I'm so fascinated to see if law enforcement decides to pick this person up, or if she's just going to walk and walk and walk. Where is she from? What's her story? We just don't know.
Well, she's had plenty of opportunities to hide. She could easily find private property where she could hide. She's not making any attempt to hide. She's sticking with the sidewalk here, just trying to. I mean, who knows where I doubt she knows where she is, to be honest with you. But I could be wrong. But she's really looking for a ride. I mean, she's desperate for a ride, and I just don't think she understands how many eyes are on her. But she is still continuing to try and wave down other motorists. It's not going to be long. I know it seems like it's taking forever, but there are officers on the way over here. And it seems like it's, we're mere seconds or minutes away from somebody pulling up here with lights and sirens flashing. But right now,
those people there, I wonder if they know what's
right. We have seen signs that there are people watching this, and we saw a couple of guys just a few minutes ago on an intersection that saw her going by and clearly, physically, waved and were excited about that. Those folks on that balcony might have been watching this as well, knowing that she's coming their way. So this has become a little bit of something. So there are a number of folks out there that are watching this pursuit.
Yeah, LAPD has units on the way. So LAPD Southeast units, I believe, are actually making their way over here. Like I said a minute ago, it seems like it's taking forever, but they are aware of this. They are watching this live on ABC7, and they are clearly aware of her movements, and they are trying to get units into position here as she continues to hustle towards 100th Street. She's got the phone still in her hand, a backpack and another bag as she starts to pick up the pace once again here down Compton Avenue. And again, not venturing into any private property. She's sticking with a public sidewalk, which tells me that she's not really making a big effort to hide. She's had plenty of opportunities to hide in a way that we would never find her and law enforcement would lose track of her. That's not the situation here. But what I am curious to see is, as this pursuit starts to go viral on the internet, at what point do we start to see other people? There's somebody right there with a phone. There are already people, just as I was saying that, there are already pedestrians on the street there, well aware of this woman who is just walking through the neighborhood, and they know she's up to no good. So this is now public knowledge. I'm sorry, Joanna. Go ahead.
She's on private property now.
She is now in an apartment. Yeah, she's in an apartment complex. Looks like a parking. These are two apartment buildings. She's in between the two, and CHP with eyes on her here. We'll see if she
might have ducked in.
She might have walked into one of these parking garages.
Yeah.
Or one of these carports. I don't think she came out the other side. They lost her. They lost her inside, in between these two apartment buildings.
She could have knocked on someone's door, right?
She might just be hanging out in the shade. That's a parking garage right there. So she might be hanging in there. They're all
look at these people. See, these people know exactly who she is.
Oh yeah, they're all.
And everybody is watching on their phone here, trying to catch a glimpse. They're watching online. They're trying to record it. But she is somewhere in this vicinity, and they are now in a position. Now that she's on foot, they should be able to lock down this apartment complex, or at least this one square block. However, it's been at least 5 minutes. Maybe I'm losing track of time, maybe even more, and we still see no sign of LAPD. We know they're on the way, but right now, no sign of LAPD, as this woman has more and more time to hide, whether she's just getting some shade or taking a rest, like you said, David. Good possibility there. She could just take a breather inside the carport, undercover, and wait this out.
She could be hiding under a car, and we don't know what the strategy is for law enforcement. They may know who she is.
spoken to a few witnesses down there, and now you see that CHP officer heading back down that alleyway in the same direction that we were trying to find her earlier. So somewhere in between these buildings here, somebody has made eyes on her. And as far as we can tell, she hasn't moved over to a different property. I think she's probably still hiding out near this parking garage. I imagine if we stay here long enough, this officer will eventually bring her back out to the street if he finds her. But yeah, you can see the crowd here. Everybody over here seems to be well aware of who she is just based on what they're seeing on their phones and online.
Yeah. I'm just so curious to see where she is, or if she actually was able to get into somebody's home from underneath there. And there's probably a lot of places that she could be hiding as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hiding spots here. She is on private property, so, you know, she is trespassing. But again, when we talk about those petty crimes, was that the officer?
Yeah, it looked like he was looking around the back of the other building.
Looking around, yeah. Yeah, I mean, most of, you know, when you talk about some of the, you know, all of the traffic infractions and the trespassing charge, I mean, these are all relatively petty misdemeanors relative to the actual theft of the automobile. But other than that, guys, you know, it's going to be probably a mental health situation at the end of the day. But right now, you can see there's an LAPD officer in front, a CHP officer in the back. They are trying to track her down.
Yeah, this could be something that takes a while. So I don't know if there are other units showing up or if it's going to be left to these two officers to kind of assess and get out. But I hope everybody in that apartment building can at least assess their own property so they know that she's not intruding on them, because there's law enforcement right there that can help out if she is.
All right, so I'm being told that CHP may have her. The officer, the CHP officer who was walking through there may have her. Whether he has the right person is yet to be, yet to be seen here. No. There he is. He's coming back out empty-handed here. So we had heard a report that CHP possibly had somebody in custody, but now you can see him coming around the building here, talking into his radio. He's got his hand on his weapon and still trying to find her, now perhaps possibly inside this building.
Oh,
additional CHP officers running in there now.
Okay.
Private security, LAPD, CHP, all walking through that doorway. Maybe they have eyes on her, but we did have a report just a few seconds ago that CHP possibly had somebody in custody.
Okay, so this is coming close. I guess it's reassuring to see that they are quickly moving, so that it looks like that they at least know an approximation of where she might be. Somebody might have told.
I want to just kind of caution, even though we have a report that somebody's in custody, many of these situations sometimes end up with a mistaken identity because the officers on the ground don't have as clear a description as we do. We've been watching her for the last, however many minutes, so we know exactly what she looks like. But those officers on the ground may, maybe rounding up some people who they have, a suspicion of, but not positive identity. So we'll see. They may have somebody in custody. We'll see if it's the right woman, presumably inside the building, as we've seen now a number of officers walk through that doorway.
Yeah, and perhaps the local security guards. I think you mentioned there was local security there. Maybe they.
It looked like a private. Yeah, there was somebody in a white shirt that looked like private security. We know we saw LAPD go in there and several CHP officers. So I'm getting more reports that we are getting confirmation now. Somebody is in custody. I think we'll find out here in short order whether it is indeed the right suspect. But somebody is being taken into custody as we speak.
And obviously, authorities don't believe that she is dangerous. Maybe that she's not armed because they're allowing people to walk around. They're not establishing a perimeter to protect people. They're not telling people to stand back. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. I think they want to keep the crowd back for sure. They obviously have a better idea now. They're focusing on that doorway. So
the crowd is
inside, I'm
largely.
sure they are keeping people away. We don't see that crime scene being established just yet. But at the end of the day, again, they're gonna, if they do indeed find her, it won't exactly be a large crime scene. They will take her into custody and figure out what the situation is. But they are calling in for backup. There is a little bit of crowd control. They want to keep people back just in case things go sideways. Absolutely, Giovanna. But it does appear from everything we're hearing that somebody is being taken into custody. And now you can see that LAPD officer in a much more relaxed stance in front of the building, and some more residents coming out here. Again, a lot of commotion. You have a number of helicopters overhead, a number of law enforcement vehicles surrounding the building, and so any second now, I think we'll have our answer. But it does indeed seem like they do indeed have it. much in question. What happened on that second floor? Again, very much in question, as the suspect appears to require immediate medical attention. They are waiting for that ambulance now. That explains the delay here, but units are now converging on the second floor of that building right there, but they do have confirmation that that pursuit suspect is indeed in custody. They have issued the code 4, just waiting for an ambulance.
Right.
Okay.
So some unanswered questions.
Thank
Maybe
you.
she penetrated somebody's apartment, but we'll find out as we wait there. And I think what we're going to do is move on to another other part of the newscast. Chris, we're going to go back to you as you have more information for us. So thanks a lot. We'll check back with you in just a moment. Other news now. One day after federal prosecutors announced the indictment of 5 people in the ketamine death of actor Matthew Perry, we're learning more about the defendants.
On the left, Jasmine Sanga, known as the Ketamine Queen, and Dr. Salvador Plasencia.